Hi, I'm Russell Sturgis. I'm the founder and principal of EAP Mentor. Welcome to the last of the blogs in our series on how EAP works, which also discusses how awareness and mindfulness works. In the written blog this week, I look at the concepts of inner peace and stillness. I look at compassion and the notion of benevolence, which is the manifestation of living life mindfully. In our video today, what I'd like to do is just capture everything that we've talked about over the last few months as we've explored these concepts. Awareness is first and foremost fundamental to the Enhancers Awareness program by virtue of the very name. And the reason why I called our work Enhancers Awareness program is that I believe that it's through true awareness that we have the ability to develop mindfulness, that we can develop the compassion and the benevolence that will allow us to live our lives in stillness with quite a degree of inner peace, removing the health implications that we're seeing become epidemic globally, and allowing people to go into their mature years with a sense of purpose and fulfillment and the ability to continue to make a difference in the world. So the very first thing that we talked about in this series was this whole notion of becoming aware. And of course, I introduced the whole notion that for many of us, that doesn't happen until we're going through some form of pain or suffering. And that's the point at which we realise that the things that we've been doing haven't been loving or serving to ourselves. And so in that moment, we become aware. Part of that awareness is expanding the understanding of what alternatives there are. So in other words, behaviours or beliefs that would be more serving than the ones that have resulted in pain and suffering. So this is really the process of accumulating knowledge and understanding. That's really what awareness is about, is gaining more knowledge and gaining an understanding of what it takes to create a different reality to the one that you're experiencing, which generally comes off the back of your programming and the way in which you've evolved through your formative years based on social, cultural and familial conditioning. And so this is about looking at other ways of approaching life beyond those things. Now, mindfulness is having the capacity to remember in any moment that there's a choice. The choice being between doing things the way that you had always done and which resulted in what you always got, which was your pain and suffering, or that there were more loving and serving ways of approaching things, which is this new knowledge and understanding. So being mindful is being presented with life situations and remembering that there's a choice, that you don't have to forfeit to old patterns or programs. So mindfulness is holding this awareness. Of course, what happens is the more you are mindful of the fact that you have a choice, it also embraces the consequences or the benefits of those choices, or the way in which those choices serve. And as you begin to consider the more loving options, and you begin to look at and consider what those benefits are to you and to others and to the planet, you find yourself being more inclined to shift your thinking towards the things that are more serving. Because let's face it, the suffering and the pain that you're experiencing is something, the anxiety, the fear, the exhaustion, the depression, all of those things. You want to be rid of those, and you're wanting to have a life that's free of those things. And so it certainly becomes more enticing to start to consider what it is that you've become aware of in terms of how to live life in a more loving and supportive way to yourself and to others. Eventually what happens is you start to develop a greater sense of being compassionate to yourself and to others as a result of entertaining this alternative option as a result of your mindfulness and awareness. And the consequence of of holding that awareness and mindfulness and sustaining that as how you engage your thinking, is that you become more naturally inclined then to act on that. And of course what we begin to see is the emergence of from compassion is benevolence, where you act kindly to yourself and to others and to the planet. And this becomes something that once that's been experienced 2 or 3 times, the experience of joy that comes out of that, the sense of freedom and clarity, and the improvement in your health and well-being is such that it entices you to keep on wanting to choose this as an option. And of course, through the course of our videos, we've talked about neural pathway development and the fact that you are able to retrain the mind to be able to engage and consider and act on this new awareness and this new reality that it is that you'd like to experience. Mahatma Gandhi was quoted as having said, "Be the change you want to see in the world." And ultimately, your capacity to be able to live life with more awareness and mindfulness and compassion and benevolence means that this, and I've talked about this in a previous video, this idea of bioelasticity, the fact that life is plastic to our thinking, means that as we align with benevolence and that sort of loving behaviour, we start to help create a knock-on effect that brings that reality into the world around us. And we start to facilitate change because of the changes that we've made in our own life. At EAP, our vision is global stillness and inner peace and healing, one person at a time. I'd like to invite you to be one of those people who are making a contribution. They talk about the fact that all we need is a critical mass, and some people have suggested the critical mass is only 2%. And I have a vision that EAP has the capacity to change 2% of the population, and that in doing this we can create a world of peace, a world of love, a world of nurture and care and benevolence, one where people are able to enjoy relationships, where there's joy in relationship and where there's celebration of diversity, and instead of a world which is driven by fear and greed, that we have one that's about compassion and love. So anyway, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to have listened to these videos over the last few weeks. Please go back and have a look at them again and reconsider them. And once again, I'd like to invite you to consider participating in the Enhances Awareness program so that you can help to contribute to that critical mass that can literally make a change in the world. Please go to @EAP Mentor on the Facebook pages to find out about what we're doing every day there. We're putting up some really wonderful stuff that can help you to live life more mindfully and with awareness. And go to eapmentor.com to our webpage to find out more about the Enhances Awareness program. Thank you, and in the next couple of weeks we'll be coming up with a new series of blogs that have to do with living life with awareness and with mindfulness. Speak to you then. Bye.